Hey, what's going on, people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video we'll be counting down the top 10 legendary weapons manufactured by Tediore, the poorest manufacturer of the bunch. Reload them and see what they do. The possibilities are endless. I'll be telling you what that unique effect is, where you can get them, and give you tips on how to maximize their damage. Rather than telling me which Tediore weapon you like the most, let's brainstorm some Tediore weapon ideas in the comment section instead. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, and if you don't want to miss out on what's coming up next, hitting that sub button and ringing that bell is one way to do it. And let's crack into it. We open this countdown of the top 10 legendary weapons manufactured by Tediore with the long musket, which can come only in fire and has an increased chance to draw from Lagrimar around here in Conrad's Hold, as part of the quest Demon in the Dark. The long musket isn't a gun but a flamethrower, and there's no doubt it's one of the coolest weapons in the entire game. Not only can you use it to quickly roast marshmallows, but it'll also burn through your opponents. It produces insane amounts of damage over time numbers and is highly effective against flesh. If that wasn't enough, its reload effect adds more to the party, producing guns with legs. They chase down your enemies and attempt to light them on fire. Its reload is far more effective thrown on the ground than at your enemies, and that's how you should use it, setting off a crowd of automated flamethrowers that'll go forth and set the field alight. Up next is the 10 gallon, a gun that can come in all the flavours and has an increased chance to drop from Genevieve, who you fight around here in Voracious Canopy. The 10 gallon fires at a steady pace but does deal high damage per shot. On reload, it produces a copy of the gun that'll hover around you and auto target any nearby enemies. It's pretty much a light version of the Dark Army in every way, a single companion instead of a trio of them and a slower fire rate. If you don't have access to the Dark Army, then it'll do, but don't expect too much. Now for the Horizon, a singularity shotgun that can come in every element and can only be dropped by Maxitrillion, who you fight around here in Voracious Canopy. The Horizon is a shotgun with a unique reload effect. After emptying its mag, the spawned gun transforms into an orb that will produce a singularity when shot. Its base damage is decent, but its reload effect is what makes this gun what it is. You can throw a pack of enemies off their feet with a single well-placed shot and deal to them before they even get up. It comes in variants with 9 or 13 pellets, the latter consuming 2 ammo and isn't really worth it, but if nothing else, you'll have a lot of fun with this gun. At number 7 is the Brightside, another shotgun. This one's exclusive to DLC 3 and has an increased chance to drop from the Bronsons. You fight around here in the Blast Plains. The Brightside brings Tediore reloads back to where they should be. Reloading will cause 4 copies of the gun to spawn and hover in the air, blasting your enemies with fire, corrosive radiation and cryo rounds. The reload feature is extremely effective while bossing, packing a mighty punch. All you need to do is shoot once, reload, and let your offspring do the rest. Constantly triggering the gun's drones does cost a fair bit of ammo, and you can only have 4 up at once, but they definitely enhance its overall firepower. Moving on now to the Bangarang, the first pistol in this countdown. It can come in every element including kinetic, and has an increased chance to drop from Captain Thunk, who will be giving Sloth a piggyback ride around about here in Conrad's Hold. The Bangarang is another Tediore weapon with a reload effect that is hard to miss. Whenever you reload, rather than inserting another mag gently, you'll throw it away in disgust, only to find a hidden ability. As it flies through the air, it rotates, spitting out bullets in every direction. It sure looks like it's dealing a boatload of damage. It's not, but I'd give it an Oscar. It's always thrown out to the right side too, not straight in front, so if you want to chuck it directly at your enemies, you'll need to do a head swivel prior to reload. You would have seen me doing that a lot in this gameplay, which I got a bit carried away with. Halfway through, and it's the Baby Maker, another Tediore pistol. This one can come in any element including non-elemental, and has an increased chance to drop from Broodmother. You fight here in the Pyre of the Stars, although last I checked, she hardly spawns. Like most Tediore weapons in general, the Baby Maker fires slowly, but it hits hard. Its reload effect is also crazy, but is ammo intensive. The effect in question causes 4 of its children to spawn and target surrounding enemies, however each of them consume a magazine's worth of ammo. It's generally not worth it, but if you can afford to feed quadruplets, then you can activate it whenever you'd like. While mobbing I find it overkill, but when taking on a boss, they do help to get the job done a little bit faster. In 4th place is Pat McKay III, another SMG. This one can come in every element including non-elemental, is exclusive to DLC 4, and has an increased chance to drop from the legendary Sponge Boss. You fight around here in Castle Crimson. Pat's 3rd mark fires pretty quick compared to other Tediore weapons, which lends it some healthy DPS, but its projectile pattern isn't something to write home about. After just a couple of seconds into their flight, the bullets fizzle out and spiral from the initial target line, and they don't move that fast either. That makes it pretty much impossible to use at range, and it's much better pointed in your enemies' faces. Up close and personal is where it shines, and its reload will always consume a magazine's worth of bullets, and therefore always deal maximum damage. At number 3 is the Scorpio XL, a non-elemental pistol with a reload effect that might remind you of something. It can only be dropped by Lieutenant Preston. You can find around here in the Tediore ruins. The Scorpio XL is like the Baby Maker, but with higher base damage and a less damaging effect, but is cool nonetheless. Whenever you reload, a copy of the gun will stick in place and provide portable cover. It's Roland's turret, but in its basic form. The main draw though is in what you hold in your hands. It deals great amounts of damage and is superb value for ammo. You can't really go wrong with this gun. It's super easy to use, just point, shoot, and watch the crowd thin away. In 2nd place is the Dark Army, an SMG exclusive to Arms Race, which can come in every element, and out of all the chests, will drop the most from this one. The Dark Army fires at a great speed and deals nice damage, but where it really comes into its own is when the whole squad is united. Not only is Saturday night for the boys, but the whole damn week. While equipped, an army of drones in its likeness will hover around you and target things it can sense you don't like. Each reload you perform will increase their damage and grant them the elemental damage type of the parent weapon for a short time. When everything's firing on all cylinders, it is insane, but its variants are quite spread, with damage numbers between 5 and 9k, so be aware of that, and always go for the bigger number. Before number 1 is uncovered, let's go over an honourable mention. This one is the Gunnerang, the Bangarang's little brother. It can come in all available elements and has an increased chance to drop from Indo Tyrant, a dinosaur who you can find around here in Floodmoor Basin. The Gunnerang is like the Bangarang but with slightly lower DPS and a different reload effect. If you ever wanted a boomerang that goes boom and never comes back to you, then this gun fits that to a T. Whenever you reload, your character will hoist it into the air where it'll circle around for a while before crashing into one of your enemies. It's pretty hilarious to see a gun you were using just a second ago kamikaze itself into an enemy right before your eyes. It doesn't do much damage though, which is unfortunate, but if you want to get the most out of its reload effect, then give it to Mose. It's that time again, number 1, and it's none other than the Anarchy, an immensely powerful Tediore shotgun from DLC 2. It has an increased chance to drop from Kukuwajak. You fight in Negalnishire. However, farming Tom and Zam around in this area of Heart's Desire can net you some also. On the surface, the Anarchy is just a regular shotgun, if not a weak one, but underneath it holds raw power that no other shotgun can match. Just like how your coffee gets stronger the more teaspoons you put in it, the Anarchy gets more powerful the more enemies you kill, or the more automatic reloads you perform. Doing so will boost its damage by 30% of whatever it is dealing at that level. It caps out at 10, and because the damage increase compounds, it isn't a 300% boost when fully stacked, more like 1200. Needless to say, at max stacks, it's a tank crashing through health bars with very little effort at all. It's best when firing 18 or 20 pellets, although they will consume the extra bullet, and you do need to watch out for its reload effect. Stacking up can also be a pain, but when it's fully powered up, there's very few things that can withstand an entire magazine. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of the top 10 legendary weapons manufactured by Tediore in Borderlands 3. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.